In this video we will be lapping the acid delivery bike Knievel style. Now this started out as a perfectly simple and reasonable request. Could you try doing a lap with a wheelie? And as you can see, this request came in 4 weeks ago, and since then I have had several attempts at this, and here are just a few of them. The reason for this request is you may or may not know, if you already have the acid bike in the acid lab, I'm sure you'll know, this thing is really manoeuvrable while you're doing a wheelie. I think it's possibly the most manoeuvrable bike while it's just up on one wheel. So as a result, it's actually the easiest vehicle to do a full lap of the map on one wheel. However, this isn't quite as straightforward as just doing a full lap while doing a wheelie, because I need to do a full lap at full throttle, and that is a totally different proposition. So why the wheelie? Well, like most bikes, this will go quite a lot quicker while you're actually pulling a wheelie. There are actually two ways to make a bike go faster. You can either pull back and do a wheelie. On some, like the Western Reaver, that will give you a speed glitch that gives you a huge amount of extra speed. But on most bikes, even ones that can't do a wheelie, like some of the choppers, you will get a reasonable speed boost. And the other way is to push forward, and you'll see your character scooch down, and that gets you a little bit of a speed boost as well. But the question is, how much faster is this while you're doing a wheelie? Well, that's what this lap's all about. The bike itself is really useful. It's easily the best delivery vehicle you get in the game. While you're actually on a mission, this thing can take 5 homing rockets, which is pretty decent for a motorbike. And even when you're not on a mission, it can still take 1. So what are my rules? Well, as I said before, this isn't just a full lap on one wheel, because that itself is fairly straightforward on this bike. It's really manoeuvrable on the back wheel. But because I need to do the full lap at full throttle, I'm going to need to cut myself a little bit of slack, because there are some corners that you just can't do at full throttle on one wheel. So my rules are, I can only put the front wheel down if it's to avoid a crash, or if it's to get round a corner that I just cannot do on one wheel. Now originally, I had another rule where I said this had to be a clean lap. But I'll be totally honest, after the number of attempts I've had at this over the last 4 weeks, I figured this one little crash, you know, between friends, you can let me off with that, surely. The total time loss for that was 10 seconds, so we'll factor that in when we get round to the end. So let's have a look at top speed. So you should all know this bit. This is my measured mile that I do as quickly as possible. Add a little simple maths to the end, and that gives you the top speed you can achieve through traffic. And like most of the bikes, you can do really well on this because you can cut straight through the middle of all of the traffic. And unlike other bikes like the Western Reaver, because you can actually steer this thing while you're doing a wheelie, you can keep the wheelie for pretty much the whole of this mile. You can actually keep it for the vast majority of the map. And here's the time it managed to do. So what do I think? Should you try this? No, please don't. It's horrible. It took forever. I have literally hours of footage of me trying to do this. And this was the cleanest lap I managed to do. So should you get the acid bike? Absolutely. It's basically free. It comes with the acid lab, which you can get through doing the DAX first dose missions, which is an absolute must for all players. If you haven't done this already, there's a guide on how to do it here. But yeah, getting this bike is an absolute must. It's surprisingly useful for free roam. It's not the best looking bike, it's not the most customizable bike, but it's quick, it's agile, it's strong, it's brilliant off-road. It's great in the delivery missions, but it's just generally an all-round pretty decent bike, to be honest. But should you try and do a full throttle, full lap? I'm gonna go with no, because let's be honest, this one nearly broke me. And as we come round here, let's just have a look at what final time we managed to do. And that's a 10:09, so even factoring in the 10-second time loss for my little indiscretion earlier, that's still only a 9:59, which is not particularly quick. It still puts it down near the bottom in terms of all-round lap speed. And here's where it sits on the bike board. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.